What's going on, folks? Last night and today it rained like a monsoon and it just finally stopped and died down. Today we're gonna get a fire going. If you're in extremely wet conditions, most of the time you'll get frustrated, not know what to do, but today we're gonna go through the process, get ourselves a fire. Everything's soaked. You want really tiny pieces to start. Very small pieces. But we're also gonna gather some, oh no. See, you want it to be able to crack easy. If it doesn't crack, that means it's still a little alive or it's too wet. So you wanna start off with really small pieces, dead standing wood, like this cedar right here. This cedar right here is a good tree to find. We're gonna get some bark off of it, some of the dry inside pieces, and we're gonna do it without damaging the tree. You don't wanna take the bark and go all around. That's how you're gonna end up hurting it. So we're just gonna take some pieces off of different areas, and this will definitely help with the tinder bundle. Let's see how this emergency debris hut did with this intense storm we had. Doesn't look too bad. So it looks like it pretty much stayed dry. There's a little bit of dampness in there, and that's why having a fire would have been key. It's good to have 3 different ways to make fire. A lighter, ferro rod, matches. Today I got a lighter and a ferro rod. In the previous video, I talked about how I always make sure that I have it because it can really help you out in a situation. Specifically, it's been raining all night, all day, everything is soaked, and we need to get a fire going. I gathered up a bunch of small pieces that were dead standing. This is where it's key to have a knife. I'm gonna get in here because it's very dry inside of these pieces. See how this is very wet? You want to get in there. I also got a larger piece, very, very dry in here. That's why it's good to have a saw, because then you can cut yourself a nice piece like this and get into all of that dry wood. Look at all that dry stuff. I'm already going to take a couple of these pieces, kind of give myself a platform because the ground is extremely wet. You do not want to start your fire on the wet ground. And I'm just going to start cutting some nice small little pieces for tinder. And this is completely dry. I'm trying to keep this kindling all on the platform. What you can do also is you can kind of start making little feather sticks as well. So I'm just going to keep on working on this feather stick. It's just going to assist the fire to get going. It's good to be prepared. I got this dried birch bark that I collected a while back. but I'm not going to use it yet. I'm going to try to get a fire without it. Another good thing to always have that can help you get a fire going, if you have your first aid kit, there's cotton in here. I think there's an alcohol prep pad, so that can help you. But let's say we don't have that. We got our ferro rod. We got a little feather stick action going. Let me grab some of that cedar. Can guarantee you this isn't going to be that easy. But we shall try. Our key thing is not to get discouraged. This is not going to go fast. So if you put that wet stuff on now, it's going to be no good. You just want to establish this a little bit with the dry stuff that you have. Really small pieces. It rains so hard that even this dry stuff is having a little bit of a tough time. You need small stuff. Small stuff. You need really thin stuff, because at first the flame needs to dry that stuff out. A little help here. Ooh. Almost thought I wasn't going to get it, folks. So you got to still stick with tiny little pieces. But I already want to take this stuff and start drying it around the fire. See, this is soaked. Just wanted to demonstrate. See, I still have these dry pieces. See the difference with that wet stuff? But it'll burn up at some point. It's just gonna dry it out a little bit. Come on. So you want to stick with small pieces for a while, until your fire is really established. I need to utilize these dry pieces here. Just another example of the importance of always making sure that you have a few ways to get a fire going. Here's an example of how a first aid kit would be helpful. Alcohol prep pad. Let's just try to get a spark right on this. Check that out. Bam. In seconds, you'd be able to get a flame going. That was wicked easy. The fire's going good. Try some tissue paper. Bam. So you got that in the first aid kit. And then you can probably get a fire going from things like this, but I'm not going to open that up and waste it, because it's better to have it and not need it. You know the saying. So make sure you guys bring 3 different things to be able to start a fire with. Lighter, ferro rod, matches. Make sure you don't start your fire right on the ground. Make a little wood platform. Get to the inside of the wood and the branches to get to the dry stuff. Make sure you start off with extremely small little pieces and do that for a while and build your way up to larger pieces, and then you can establish a nice fire even when it's been really, really rainy and very moist. So I want to thank you guys for watching Boss Survival. Make sure you like and subscribe.